Hello everyone, welcome to Too Little Too Late, a show where I don't tell you enough about a video game that's too old for you to care about. For our first episode, we're going to be experiencing Mortal Kombat, introduced to arcades in August of 1992. Created by Ed Boon and John Tobias, this project revolutionized the fighting game and reinvented what people thought was possible on arcade cabinets at the time. The unique style of scanning real actors into low-res sprites gave the game its distinctive look for at least the first 3 titles. The first thing we're greeted by is the character select screen. If you're familiar with this franchise, you'll recognize all of these fighters. Fun fact, Sub-Zero is the only character to appear in every single Mortal Kombat property. With that being said, I'll play as him for now, for simplicity's sake. In Mortal Kombat, the goal is simple. Beat your opponent to death with your bare hands. Being produced in a time where every retry costed 25 cents, however, made sure it wouldn't be that easy. Every fight is a gamble, and the house always wins. The control scheme is as basic as it gets. On my PS4 controller, triangle is a high punch, square is a low punch, X is a low kick, and circle is a high kick. Use R1 to block and the analog stick to move and jump, and you've got yourself a barely usable control setup. Movements are labored, clunky, and even unresponsive at times. This is terrible for the last second reactions you need to avoid attacks and pull off combos. After that unfortunate attempt at a fight, I decided to try out a different character. Maybe Sub just isn't for me. Liu Kang has been my go-to since Mortal Kombat 3, which was, fun fact, the first Mortal Kombat game I've ever played. And with that, I had bested him. I have rose up from the ashes, like the phoenix, and claimed my prize. No one could stop me now. Obviously, I had to switch something up, and you know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them.
Johnny Cage wins. Fight! Come here! Scorpion wins. Fight!
At that point, I had done it. Scorpion was defeated. I had earned my right to live and continue to the next opponent. Mortal Kombat's progression comes in the form of an arcade tower. You earn the right to face your next enemy after the previous one has been put down. Each match will be harder than the last. The tower consists of 6 fights against each character in the game. 1 fight against yourself, nicknamed a mirror match. A tag team match against 2 characters, called an endurance match. And then the mini-boss Squirrel, and the final boss, the evil sorcerer Shang Tsung. Only after you defeat Shang Tsung can you say you beat the game and have become the Mortal Kombat champion.
Fight.
I'll spare you the details for this fight.
Sonya wins.
Things weren't looking good, but you know what they say. If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Sonya wins. Sub-Zero wins. Liu Kang wins. Johnny Cage wins. Johnny Cage wins. Johnny Cage wins.
So, after a few less than desirable matches, I had an idea. So now, with the difficulty set on very easy, I was hopefully going to get some footage for this video.
Fight. Johnny Cage wins.
Now that I could fight back, I was making progress.
Fight. Excellent. Johnny Cage wins. Fight. Excellent. Johnny Cage wins.
It was finally time for the mirror match. There can only be one. Progressing from the mirror match, I enter into my first endurance round. This would mean I'd have to fight 2 characters on 1 health bar. Things are looking good. Alright, so I actually lost the footage after that part, but a quick rundown of what happened. I beat Sub-Zero, and then Sonya Blade came in and one-tapped me, and I lost. So I stopped playing. So, what do I think about Mortal Kombat? I think it's a solid game in its own right. Sure, it's cheap and unfair at most of the time, and it's very bare bones, at sometimes barely being playable, but it is without a doubt a product of its time, and it laid the groundwork for not only Mortal Kombat titles that came after it, but all fighting games that came after. This game is historic in not only the fighting genre, but in all genres. This is the game that single-handedly started a court case that ended in the ESRB being created. You know, those people that tell you whether or not you can buy a game without your mom's approval at GameStop. At its release, Mortal Kombat sparked heated debates about what should and should not be allowed in the video games in America. This game seems tame 27 years later, but at the time, nothing like this had ever been seen before. All things considered, if this were a release title today, it would be a bad one. Not worth any amount of money. But coming out in an arcade cabinet 27 years ago, this is a masterpiece of sorts. I love this game. And although I can say I've never beaten it, and I probably never will, the experience is just unbeatable, nonetheless. There is no knowledge that is not power. Thanks for watching.